From virtual gridiron greatness to midget hookers fighting over the last ounce of cocaine, this is the No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League News Hub. With coverage you can count on, and top stories and highlights from around the league. This is the No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League. And this week's preview of the No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League is brought to you by Turban Brand Condoms. Feel safe knowing that pulling out too early does not have to turn into a complete disaster. And now, here's a word from your league commissioner. Hello everybody and welcome to the No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League News Hub. I'm your host and league commissioner, Rick Horn. And let me just be the first to welcome our fans to yet another action-packed, no punt intended fantasy football season. Last year, in an absolutely shocking turn of events, we saw the Bellingham Bin Blase spread their legs further apart than ever before, as team owner Nicholas Blase was able to earn his first fantasy football championship in his 9-year fantasy football career, after a hard-fought battle with then defending champs, #Money Team. It was truly a Bimbarella season for the Bin Blases, crushing multiple records along the way, including the league's single highest week scoring record and an incredible finish as the regular season highest scoring squad en route to the league championship. It's been one hell of a summer at the Underground Nightclub in Bellingham, Washington, so we'll see if the Bin Blases and team owner Nicholas Blase can shake their tits and suck their way into yet another league championship. This just in! Before we get into our official Game of the Week preview for Week 1, it has come to our attention that Tebow's Before Hoes running back Tamika Elliott is under investigation for potential charges of fraudulently impersonating a first-round fantasy football pick, as her fat ass could not even last 35 yards against the constipated Leather Daddy's brutally ball-busting defense. More details to follow. And with that, it's time for your preview of the very first official Game of the Week. It's time for a good old-fashioned Midwest hoedown, as the Chicago Spirit Fingers will be led out by male cheer coach and league newcomer Blake Mattin, in hopes that they can rah-rah their way into victory over former league champion Rick Horn and the St. Louis Lot Lizards. Blake Mattin enters his No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League debut with an absolutely monstrous fantasy football resume as a 10-year fantasy football veteran with a total of 8 league championship appearances, 5 times of which saw Mr. Mattin winning it all, and he is also a 2-time league highest regular season scoring record holder. So we'll see if the Chicago Spirit Fingers can lift their skirts, shake their pom-poms, and hopefully send constipated Leather Daddy's team owner Danny Gilmore a few nudes en route to a successful league debut.
I'm Brian Bates, the original video vigilante. What you are about to see is 100% real. Real hookers, real Johns caught in really compromising positions. You only thought you knew the reality of street prostitution.
Meanwhile, the St. Louis Lot Lizards are hoping to mount a serious comeback and bring back the trophy to the Gateway City after just narrowly making the playoffs in the 2020 season, before getting what few teeth they had left knocked out by the Bellingham Bin Blases in the first round of the playoffs. But many experts would say that this may very well be the Lot Lizards' single strongest squad on paper since relocating the team from Pastafaria to St. Louis, especially with the return of quarterback Tom Brady, who has already grown nicely accustomed to sucking off lonely truck drivers at the local Walmart parking lot. Tom Brady had this to say about his return to the greatest sports city in America.
I mean, yeah, it's great to be back in St. Louis. You know, I was here a couple of years ago. I was traded from the IT crew in exchange for Jared Goff and a couple of dead mice. You know, so I'm happy to be back in St. Louis. I'm just ready to go out and win a championship this time. You know, I feel like it's the least that I can do for the city. Greatest sports city in America. That dome always, you know, just has great fans. The place is always really loud. You know, and I get to suck off some truck drivers, so that's a huge plus. You know, I've pretty much been deflating balls my entire career, so, you know, being a lot lizard, it's not really any different. Happy to be in St. Louis.
We'll see if the St. Louis Lot Lizards can scout the parking lot for a new rig to shack up in order to avoid getting spirit fingered in the season opener. Now I know what you're thinking. What's at stake for the very first official Game of the Week bet in the 2021, no pun intended, fantasy football season? Well, I'm glad you asked. The loser of this week's Game of the Week will have to perform a cheer written by the winner of the game. So the lyrics, the dancing, the motions, the choreography, everything, that is what is at stake, and the loser will have to post that video on the league Facebook page. So be sure to stay tuned. That does it for your Week 1 preview of the No Pun Intended Fantasy Football League News Hub. Be sure to check your lineups ahead of Sunday's games, and we will see you on the virtual gridiron.